Let's talk SpeedBoost. Most of you who know who I am know I'm already outspoken about the whole SpeedBoost debacle we have going on right now. But we're going to start doing a series of videos to illustrate how imbalanced and I guess unfair this is to ground units. There's not much that can be done that I've seen suggested so far. I've seen people say that it's part of a big nano rework and a huge shakeup of the game, but nanos have nothing to do with speed, and it's not going to change anything as far as point management goes and rapid high-speed bombing runs with little to no threat of actual retaliation except for from other aircraft. Enlarging the maps is not going to help any because that just exacerbates the problem. The gap in the ability of ground and air to navigate the map unless the ground is also ridiculously speed boosted. So anyway, start the match. I'm going to beeline for the far point, and I get there at almost the same time as a reasonably speed boosted enemy gets there, but it's because I can do, I think this thing does 514 max. I don't know if we see it in this match, but it does about 500 miles per hour. So I fly over there, I bomb the crap out of this guy. We've got another bomber over here now. I don't really care too much about the rails. Obviously, I don't want to sit in one place and let them hit me, but I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't go over here and fight right in front of their base in a ground vehicle that couldn't just fly away at the first threat of danger. But I would do this in an aircraft that can zoom away at 500 miles per hour and not really have to fear being destroyed over here. Granted, I'm not going to get on that point, but I'm keeping them off of the point too. Well, I'm helping keep them. I'm not doing it all by myself. We've got some other aircraft in the sky, but it just illustrates the problem. My team's over here working on midpoint. We're going to do a bombing run on this guy. He's got no idea I'm coming, and really, even if he just looked over there, I appear in like 1 second, 1.5 seconds. So we'll try to hit him. I see him there kind of cloaked and miss, and kind of look, but I don't really see him. Don't really care about him. He's not a threat to anything at the moment. So we're going to circle back around to far point, shrug off a few rails, no big deal, and dump our payload of plasma on them. We're going to circle back around, hit the power booster, but we actually do take a fair amount of damage here, and I lose my rear props, which doesn't, it only hurts because I'm out of balance at this point, and I've got this thing in the front trying to lift me up with the rest of my bot in the back with nothing back there trying to lift me up. But luckily we got out of the heat quickly enough to not have to worry about it. And this is a high-speed bomber. This isn't my tanky bomber. I actually built this one with some damage control in mind. Took a lot of hits to the rear. It's actually very uncommon, at least in a few matches I've played with it so far, to be damaged in such a way that I can't fly away easily and go heal up. And I don't use the base shield. I don't use the base shield at all with this build because using the Mega Plasma, flying away to heal up for 20 seconds synergizes with having to recharge my power bar pretty well. Yeah, it takes a little more than twice as long to heal as it does to recharge the energy bar, but a lot of times I can dodge a hit or two or pop in and out of render distance and drop a couple more blobs of plasma before anybody can react and still get my heal in while dealing damage, just because I'm able to engage and disengage so quickly and from so many different directions. It's not like I'm turning around and coming back from the same way. I'm flying out of render range to where my player tag, my name tag above my bot disappears, and then I come back no longer highlighted. So, but we're going to assist our allies. It's a good way to play a build like this, a high-speed build, is to go to where your allies are at and help them, because you're not going to be on the point quite as much as they are, but if you're able to get in, deal a bunch of damage, and get out really quick, as long as your allies are all things equal, their bots are able to stand toe-to-toe with the enemy builds, then your team is going to come out on top of that because they're getting assistance all over the map from the same person. Like every 8 seconds I've got a rather large amount of damage I can dump along with that power module, able to get 4 extra plasma shots off every so often. So my damage scores aren't astronomical. I get higher damage scores with rail impalers, but that's largely due to the fact that I'm really, really rusty with plasma, and I'm still getting used to flying. I don't use wings in this game. These are the first videos you guys have ever seen me do with wings, and it's because I don't use them. I use everything but wings pretty much. I don't think you've actually seen me with walker legs either, but I don't use those very often because everybody knows those are pretty bad. But anyway, these are the first videos that you guys have ever seen me do with wings because I just don't use them. And very inexperienced with them, and yet I'm able to post up good numbers, place, in the top 5, sometimes top 3 on overall score with these builds just because of their imbalanced nature, how fast they can get in and out. I don't have to fear death and being damaged most of the time. Most of these matches I post up with 0 deaths, which is pretty valuable because you're spending more time on the battlefield. A lot of people say deaths don't matter in Battle Arena, and they don't to an extent. They do matter when you're able to kill the enemy team a lot and they can't maintain control of the points because they're constantly respawning, which is what we have here. They lost a player, but they didn't lose a player right at the beginning of the game. He realized he may have crashed, but it's doubtful. He probably realized that this was not going to go well for him using that ostrich bot and bailed. And if I read the player names right, it looked like they were in he was in a group, but there was no platoon. I don't know if I read that wrong, but they were named very similarly. So anyway, if you're paying attention, we're just get in, get out damage real quick. Fly in, fly low, use the terrain to your advantage. You can get in even if they were focused on me coming around that hill. It's going to require more than one player looking at me and shooting me to bring me down. It's going to require a team effort to bring one player down, and that's when you know that something is imbalanced in this game, when one reasonably well-equipped bot with lasers, for instance, or rails, cannot bring down something by itself that's not even shooting back at it. I'm not even shooting back at some of these guys, but we are going to help our teammate over here. We're going to stop, hover kind of, which is another nice ability, but my ally was able to finish him off, so we're just going to flip back around, go back into their base, but they surrendered, so that's the end of the match. Very high-speed gameplay, very hit and run. Same thing as peekaboo damage. It's just not fun to play against. Get a lot of quitters. I doubt it's disconnects. It could be, but probably not. So we'll see you at episode 2. Hope you enjoyed it.